Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you all so much for being with me. Thank you all so much. It is Saturday, the 31st of July of 2021, and welcome to another one of our Client Success Summits. Welcome to our Client Success Summit. You know, the idea is every 3 months we get together and we think about and we brainstorm and we focus on how can we improve our lives? How can we improve the quality of our lives? My name is Otis Landerholm. I am the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C. You are here joining us for our Client Success Summit. Thank you so much. Now, my question for you right now is, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to make things happen? Are you ready for your life to never be the same again? Are we ready to make things happen? To make decisions? To move forward? To change? To grow? We ready to do that? I hope that we are ready to do that, all right? And right now, for the first time ever, we're doing this live for our clients, which we've always done in the past. And now, for the first time ever, we're also live on YouTube and on Facebook to the immigrant community and to the world and to the internet. And so if this is your first time seeing me and seeing us, welcome to our Client Success Summit. Thank you so much for joining. And really, it is my absolute pleasure and honor to have you with us here today. Today is going to be a little bit different. We do some things a little bit different every time, all right? And so we are here with our clients. I've got my clients on a specific app so I can interact with them. But we are also live streaming today on YouTube, on Facebook, to the world, to the internet. And so welcome and thank you all so much. And so are we ready? Are we ready, people? Are we ready to make things happen? Are we ready to move our lives forward? I think we are. If you're here with me, it's like, yes, we're ready to change, to grow. But man, you know something? It isn't easy, is it? It's not easy, all right? Changing, growing, moving forward, progress, it's never easy. It's like the pandemic seems to be ending, and then two people that I know get symptoms and get sick. All right? It's like, you know, the government announces some good things going forward for U visas, for example. You know, we get some new work permits for people who have been applying and waiting for years for their U visas. But then, you know, just like 2 weeks after that, they go and attack the DACA program. Who knows what I'm talking about? It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step backward. It's not easy. Who knows what I'm talking about? Who else feels like life is mixed up with both positive and negative? Who else feels like one good thing happens to them, but then one bad thing happens right afterward? You know, when I was a kid, I remember my parents, right? My parents were struggling with their finances. They were struggling. They wanted to buy our first family home. My dad was the pastor of a church, all right? And my mom was a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids. And our finances were always tight when I was a kid, all right? And I remember that my parents would talk about things getting better, but then some expense would come up that they would have to address. And then things would get better again, and then the car would break down. We would need a new transmission in the car. And my parents were frustrated, right? Up and down and up and down. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been there? Like, who knows what I'm talking about? First the good and then the bad. First the progress and then the difficulty. First some forward movement and then some new obstacle that's right in our way. And now I got a question for you. All right? The question is, what if it were possible to change that? What if it were possible? Now, I don't know if it is possible, but what if it were? All right? What if we expected the challenges in life? What if we anticipated the obstacles in our life? And what if we were ready always, no matter what, to overcome them? What if we could attract into our lives exactly what we want without attracting the difficulties, challenges, and problems too? Now, the truth is, it might be possible, it might not. All right, and it might be the case that it depends on how we view it. But what if it could? Let me ask you, would it be worth spending a couple of hours together right now if we could create a life where we expected and were prepared for any obstacle that would come in the future? Would it be worth spending a couple of hours together right now? Would it be worth playing all in with me right now? Like, did you know that I want to talk a little bit about personal financial statistics? Obviously, there's lots of different ways to measure success in life, right? But personal financial statistics, most people aren't saving money. All right? Most people have no financial safety net. Most people are in debt. Most people really aren't prepared for any difficulty that would hit them in their lives. Most people are not taking action to protect themselves. All right? And now here's what I want for everybody that's with me here right now. It's like, don't aim to be like most people. Don't aim to be average. Don't aim to just get by like everyone else, because everyone else ain't getting by that well. Aim instead to be a success. Aim to be on top. Aim to win in your life. And like, why not? You weren't born to be average. You didn't immigrate to the United States to be average. You were born to be great. You came to the U.S. to be great. And remembering that and never forgetting that is what this day is all about. That's what we're here for. All right? It's like, let's go for what we want in our lives. All right? And I don't care what your immigration status is. And I don't care what other challenges and problems and difficulties you've had to overcome recently. It's like, today is a new day. And we can start, and we can build, and we can plan, and we can grow. And so that's what today's all about. Are you up for that? Are you up for being great? All right? If so, let's do it. If you're up for being great, let's get started. All right? And welcome to our Client Success Summit. And here's the plan. First, I'm going to take you through a process that we call our 90-day look back, and I'll explain that in a minute. Second, we're going to discuss how we can create the life we want and not settle for being stuck in struggle, in average, in frustration. All right, let's create the life we want. And before we get into it, I want to put out some ground rules. All right, this is going to be a little bit different than we've ever done it. We love changing things up. All right, so everyone needs to know that yes, we've always shared our client success summits through our podcasts with the immigrant community. But today we're going even further than that, all right? So we have our app that's available for our clients, of Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., our law firm. But at the same time, I'm recording this through, I have two computers in front of me, right? One is dedicated to the app for our clients, and one is dedicated to live streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, all right? And so because we're doing it this way, which we've never tried it this way before, we're opening it up to the whole immigrant community throughout California, throughout the United States, really throughout the world, all right, on the internet. And so as such, it's not going to be possible to really do the shared interactions that unfortunately, I love doing the shared interactions, but it's not going to be really possible to do it in the same way that we've done it in the past. However, I still welcome everyone, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, or whether you're my client going through the freeconferencecall.com app, all right? Then regardless, feel free to share anything through the chat feature or through the comment feature wherever you're seeing the video, all right? My team is monitoring that. So for example, if you want to share kind of what's working for you about this live event, if you want to share a question, if you want to say something that you're inspired by, if you want to share some kind of good thing, please feel free to do it. You'll just need to have to type in the chat, all right, of whichever app you're using to see this video. Same thing is if you have any type of technical difficulty, all right, my team is monitoring and is on this as well, all right. Danitza Yanez. Danitza is awesome. Danitza, thank you as always for all your support. She is helping me right now. And so if there's any technical difficulties, if you can't hear me very well, if there's like a problem logging in or something like that, please chat with Danitza. Please just say, hey, I need help. Raise your hand or whatever, and she'll chat with you, all right? Or if you're on YouTube or Facebook, just leave a comment, and we're watching those. Also, underneath or in the chat of the different sections, you will have a link to a workbook. All right, we've put together a PDF workbook to accompany our day today. Feel free to download it. Feel free to use it. All right, and so check that out. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, and so get out your workbook, and we can start our process. The first step of the process is what we call our 90-day look back. All right, and the idea of the 90-day look back, I love doing this, and I do this within our company. I also do this with my wife, all right? And it's like every 90 days, meet. And really look, take 3, 5, 7 minutes and really look and examine your own life. Examine your progress. What things have you done in your life? What progress have you made? What is positive in various areas of your life? Think of at least 3 things. All right? Write them down. I'd love it if you would share something in the chat. Share with us. Tell us what's something that you've done. All right? And yeah, that's really it, And so this is the 5th Client Success Summit that we've ever had. All right? We started actually 1 year ago in July, 1 year ago, and so we've done a full year, and now this is our 5th, starting our 2nd year of Client Success Summits, and we had our last one in April, and in April we discussed how to recognize opportunities in your life so that we can maximize our chances of creating increase, creating more, and now here we are 3 months later. And so the question for you is, in the past 90 days, what has happened in your life? What can you share? What can we celebrate with you? Was there something that you took on in your life? Was there a victory? What did you accomplish? all right? I really recommend you write it down. I really recommend, and if it makes sense for you, please share it with us and we'll announce it to the world. All right? So take just a minute and text something in. And while you're doing that, I'll just share for myself. All right? For myself, our office is making a lot of advances. But one thing that I'll share kind of personally, in the last 90 days, I bought a new car. I bought a new car, and it's not just a car, it's like a car that I love to drive. It is so fun. All right? So I actually got a car that I wanted. All right? Not one that would just take me to where I want to go, one that I wanted to get. And so that was just one example in my own personal life. Something maybe more important or significant in my personal life is I supported my wife bringing her father and mother from Texas to California, which has been a long process, all right? And so my wife took actually a week out of the house, and I was like Mr. Mom with the kids for one solid week. And it was a great experience, but really it was a pleasure to support her and her family to be able to provide better care for her parents as they age. So anyway, those are just some small ways that I've made some progress, right? Some small measurable progress that makes me happy in the past 90 days. But really the point of all of this is, hey, what progress have you made? Right? The whole point of this is that our clients and that our community is supported to make progress in their life. And so tell me, what changes, what things have you taken on? And if you don't want to share, that's completely fine. But I'd love to see it if you have something. So, all right. Well, so here's the thing, all right? I know that you've done something, whether you share it with me or not. I know that you've done something. Sometimes it's like we've got to rack our brains, because sometimes our brains want to focus on all the 300 things that went wrong in the last 90 days, all right? And believe me, I've had some things that have gone wrong in my personal life too, all right? But it's a challenge to focus our minds into the things that have gone well. And I encourage everyone on a quarterly basis to do that. Let's look at what's gone well and at least write them down, get clear on them, because we are making progress. Okay? And then what I like to do is after we do that and after we examine that, heck, we can rip it up. We can be done with it. Because, the last 3 months are in the past. So we can declare the last 3 months complete. Yay, wahoo. It's the past. We're done with it. Whatever we did, we did. Whatever we didn't do, we didn't do. And let's not be bogged down by it. And instead, let's switch gears. And now for the rest of today, let's talk about the present. Let's talk about action. Let's talk about what we want to do. Let's talk about creating the life we want. Let's talk about how to be above average, how to be excellent, how to raise our standards, how to achieve whatever it is we want to achieve. Are you ready for that? I hope you're ready for it. I hope you're ready for it. So let me continue the story. All right? I was talking earlier about my parents' situation. They were struggling with their finances. They wanted to buy a family home. My dad was the pastor of a church. My mom was a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids. And they were struggling with ups and downs and ups and downs. All right? And I posed the question, is it possible to change it? So I want to tell you the story of how my parents changed it. They did. They changed it. And I saw them change it as I was a child. All right? How did they change it? How do you change from going up and down to instead going up? Just going up. And let me tell you, it started with my mom. My mom took a risk. She made a commitment. She got into action. And my theme for today is those three things. She took a risk, she made a commitment, and she got into action. Number one, she took a risk. Number two, she made a commitment. And three, she got into action. So, okay, great. What specifically did she do? Well, she took student loans out. She applied, she made phone calls, she tried to figure it out, and she signed on the dotted line to take student loans, which for her was scary. And she went back to school. And I remember her. She would drive off for, it was really 2 hours each way. She would drive off, and I want to make sure that our app is on here. I don't want to do that. Okay. She would drive off and she would go to her classes. All right? She got a master's degree in education and then she became a school teacher. It cost her $20,000 of school debt in the 1980s. All right? And it was a very scary thing for her and my dad to have her go do. And I remember as a kid being like, wow, mom is gone for like today and tomorrow. She's going to be like, she would drive a long way to go to the university that was closest to where we were living. And then, make it back after doing her her course schedule. It wasn't online, right? Like it is now. And so then, though, with both her and my father working together, and both of them generating income together, they were able to turn their financial situation around. They were able to save up. They were able to buy a better car that wasn't breaking down all the time. They were able to put a down payment on their first small family home, and they were able to grow their financial stability. 3 steps: risk, commitment, and action. All right? Risk, commitment, and action. And so now I want to switch gears. I want to tell you my own story for a second. All right? I went to law school. I didn't even know whether or not I wanted to be a lawyer. Did you know that? I didn't know. That was my first risk. I discovered that I loved it, though, and I particularly loved immigration law. Like, man, I loved it. I had a great professor in immigration law. I took a semester off. I went to Ecuador and I was practicing immigration law in Spanish in Ecuador. I loved it. All right. So, and then after I graduated, and then my wife and I had our first child on the way, I decided to start my own law firm right out of law school with zero training in how to run a business. That was risk number 2 that I took. All right? And let me tell you, after the firm was going for approximately 3 years of me right out of law school with zero training in how to run a business, we were not doing very well, people. We were not doing very well. And we were losing money every month. And I was staring bankruptcy right in the face. And it was looking like I was going to need to close down. And I was super scared. Okay? And I took the very last bit of money that I had and I invested it in a consultant. All right? That was risk number 3 for me. Like, I didn't know if that was going to work out. And I was very nervous to do it. And that person started to help me understand, started to train me and to help me to make better financial and better business decisions. All right? And like, I was nervous, I was scared, I was blaming myself. But let me tell you, I was committed. I was 29. I think. This was not quite 10 years ago. My wife, my kid, my future were at stake. My son was like 1.5 years old, and we had a daughter on the way. All right? And let me just tell you, I worked mornings, noon, night, worked weekends. I worked for 2 years in this firm without paying myself anything. All right? Paying my staff, paying to keep the lights on, that was my commitment. It was hell, all right? But I had to fix the problems that I myself had caused. Commitments that I had signed up for that didn't work out because they were stupid. I should never have committed our firm to a young firm like that to take on as much payments, basically. Bad business decisions. I won't get into it. I'd love to get into it personally with each of you if you want to know it. All right, I've got a lot of stories. But the bottom line is, I was committed. And then I took action. What did I specifically do? Look, I'm not sugarcoating this. I fired some employees that were not working out, all right, that weren't working for us and weren't working for our clients. I raised our prices, all right? I started to hold my team accountable. I started making sure everyone on our team was tracking their time on their cases that we put into every single case so that we could be sure that we're pricing our services correctly. I started to get the systems in place so that the thing would work. It's not just automatic and simple and intuitive to run a law firm. There's a lot of things that go into it. But let me tell you, getting into action helped, and it's now working. All right? It's not flawless, but it's working. It's getting better. I'm happy to report that things are getting better. All right? I now have 19 employees, and they're all outstanding human beings. All right? I now pay myself actual dollars every month. Wahoo! All right? I've reached not the level of success where I'm aiming for, all right? But I've reached a level of success beyond what I even knew was possible 10 years ago. And it's amazing. It is amazing. And after doing it, it's like I want nothing more than to share it. I want nothing more than to share it with other people because other people are capable of it. It's like you can get better. You can radically change your own quality of life. It doesn't make things perfect, but it makes things better. And how do you do it? How do you do it, people? Say them with me. Number 1, you take a risk. Number 2, you commit. And number 3, you take action. 1, you risk. 2, you commit. And 3, you take action. You do what you need to do. You go for it. You don't sit on the couch and hope things will change. You get into action. You make the requests. You have the conversations. You do what you need to do. All right. And let's look at another, let me just ask you, what about like a farmer? All right? A farmer or an agricultural worker. They know this. The farmer knows this stuff. When a farmer buys seeds to put into the ground, there's a financial risk you're buying seeds. And there's no guarantee. All right? And then, all spring and all summer, the weeds, the bugs, the sun, the weather, they're out to attack your crops. And so, yeah, you took the risk, the financial risk, and you bought those seeds, but now you've got to commit. You've got to commit. All right? You've got to be like You got to be like, hey, no matter what needs to happen, I'm saving these, I'm protecting these seeds. And then you've got to get into action. You've got to water, you've got to protect, you've got to weed. Well, you've got to do whatever you need to do to allow your seeds to grow and to flourish. And then finally, after all of that, finally, you get to collect, you get to harvest, you get to receive, you get to get what you want. 1, risk. 2, commit. And 3, action. Got it? And now I know what some of you are thinking. I work with a lot of people. All right, we've got thousands of clients. I work with a lot of people from all over the world. I know what some of you are thinking. Some of you are thinking, well, great, Otis. Great that worked for you. Great that worked for your family or for your parents or whatever. But I can't go back to school because I'm undocumented and I can't pay for the education. All right? 1, that's not true. It's not. All right? And 2, I never said you had to go back to school. That's not the point. That's not the message. What I said is you got to take a risk. I'm not sure what risk is the right risk for you. I'm not saying you got to go back to school. I'm saying you got to take a risk. All right? And not just a silly risk, one that's actually going to take you to what you want. And so it's like, let's hear them. I know they're out there. What I mean is, I know the excuses are out there. What are the excuses? Let's hear them. All right? Oh, you have to have money first to be able to start a business. Oh, you have to have documents, right? You have to have papers first to be able to start a business. First, not true. Second, I'm not saying anybody has to start a business. All right? It's a great experience for me. I love it. Now that I've figured out how to do it, I love it. But you don't have to do that. 3, I've got lots of undocumented clients who actually do have their own businesses, so I know it's possible. But again, I'm not talking about education. I'm not talking about business. I'm talking about it takes a risk. And my question for you is, okay, think about it. What risk could you take? Where do you want to go next in your life? And what risk could you take? What is something that you know you could do, but maybe you're avoiding doing it, or maybe you're resisting doing it, or maybe you're a little bit afraid to do it? Where are you holding yourself back? Like, take a minute. Think about it. Write it down. Looking at it from a different perspective, it's like, is there something that you could do that you're just kind of nervous about it? Makes you nervous to even think about it. Something that's like, I'm afraid. Maybe there's fear. All right? Risk involves all of that stuff. It does. It involves all of that stuff. And being courageous, having courage, means going forward even in the face of fear. Everybody feels fear. Everybody feels fear. The question is, are you going to let that fear stop you from doing what could move your life forward? And I hope that you wouldn't. All right? But the first step to not letting it stop you is let's get clear. Let's get clear. Let's take a moment. Let's think about it. What's a risk you could take? What's something you could do? Where are you holding yourself back? What's something that you could do that could radically transform the future for you? Take a moment and think about it. If anybody wants to share a risk that they could take, type it. Type it in the comments beneath the video. type it, and, we'll share it. You do not have to. If you want to, you can. Here's the thing about risk. It's like the old adage, right? No risk, no reward. Well, I do believe that. I do believe that. But here's something else that I want to communicate. In my opinion, all immigrants know that. All immigrants know that. All immigrants know about risk. Like, it's risky to immigrate. And let me ask you, do people immigrate because they want to be average? Like no. All right? People immigrate because they want to move their lives to the next level. They want more, right? Also, I'll just say it, right? In my opinion, the average immigrant does not hire our law firm, doesn't really fight for themselves, right? The average immigrant, I'll say this, I'm very positive about this, the average immigrant does not spend a Saturday on the 31st of July when it's beautiful outside, all right? They don't spend their time on a beautiful, gorgeous Saturday afternoon with me right here, right now to figure out how can we improve our lives. And so if you're listening to me right this second, it's like you already know this to be true for yourself. You already know about risk in your life. You already have what it takes to be successful. And my job here is the simplest job in the world, is basically let me hold up a mirror so that you can see, so that I can show you that you've already got what it takes. You already know how to do it. You already know how to be courageous in the face of fear. You already know how to say, wow, that does scare me, and you know something, world, I'm doing it anyway. And so what risk do you want to take? That's number one. What risk do you want to take? That's number one. Number two is, what do you want to commit to? Where's your commitment? So we've talked about risk. You got to be open. You got to be open, willing to risk something. Now let's talk about commitment. Okay? Let's do it. We're doing great, everybody. We're doing great. It's 1:11 in the afternoon. I love it. If you have joined our call, all right, if you have joined this video in between the beginning and now, welcome, welcome. I'm Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Thank you so much for joining. You have joined one of our client success summits, all right? Which, yes, this is the first time that we're doing it for our clients, but we're also live streaming it on Facebook and on YouTube. So welcome, everyone. And anyway, I really appreciate everyone's being with me here today on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. So we've talked about the key ingredients to moving our lives forward, to causing a change, to making a difference, to growing, to going for it. What are those three key ingredients? First is risk. Second is commitment. Third is action. All right? So we've talked about risk in a great deal. I appreciate that conversation. All right? Now let's talk about commitment. What does it really mean to commit to something? What are we committed to anyway? You know, some people are confused. Some people are confused, in my opinion, all right? This is my interpretation. This is my definition. So some people are confused. They, quote unquote, commit to doing an action, all right? They say, I'll commit to doing X, okay? Like, for example, I'll commit to making a phone call and asking a bank for a loan to start a business, a loan to buy a house, all right? Or even, quote unquote, I'll commit to immigrating to the U.S. Or perhaps, quote unquote, I'll commit to going back to school. All right? And really what they're saying is, I'll commit to doing one action, and then if it goes well, I'll continue and do something else. And if it doesn't go well, I'll drop it. Or as soon as I confront challenge or difficulty, maybe I'll go back to school, but from there on, I'm not committing to anything beyond that. In my opinion, when we commit just to one specific action, it's not what I'm talking about. It's not real commitment. The thing to commit to is the result that we want in our life, not the action that we're going to take to lead towards the result. You know what did that make sense? I feel like I should say that again. The real commitment is to commit to the result that we want in our life, not to the action that we're going to take to get us to the result. When Thomas Edison was inventing the light bulb, it took him 3,000 tries. All right? You could call that 3,000 different actions, not just one. That's commitment. Think about failing 3,000 times before finally you get it right. But the thing is he was committed. He was like obsessively committed. And he's going for it. He's like, I know I'm going to get this. I don't care how many actions it needs to take. I'm going to get it. When the Wright brothers invented the first plane, think about the risk involved. All right, just think about that. You're building some contraption. You're going to put your own body on it, and it's going to be the first airplane ever invented. It took thousands of setbacks. They had 8 serious crashes, all right, bones broken type crashes. Talk about that. And still being willing to get on the next one. Commitment, to building an airplane. It's like they stuck with it. They succeeded. They changed history forever. See, it's like when we commit to something, we don't just say what one action we might do. Yeah, it's good to have actions. We'll talk about actions. But we commit to getting into action and doing whatever actions are required to get the result that we are after. The real commitment is to the result, not the action. I hope that makes sense. Here's the thing. The commitment of the immigrant is not just to immigrate. Got it? I'll say it again. The commitment of the immigrant is not just to immigrate. Oh, yay, I've stepped 1 foot on U.S. soil. I've made it. Now that's it. I'm done. I'm here. I immigrated. Wahoo. That's not the true commitment. The true commitment is not just to arrive to the U.S. The true commitment is to achieve a better life. However you define that. However you want it. The true commitment is to achieve a specific goal that you have for your life. Immigrating to the U.S. is only one of the actions that a person might take towards achieving that goal, whatever it is. Legalizing yourself and getting your green card or papers in order might be another one. Educating yourself might be another one. Creating more love in your personal life or in your family might be another one. Contributing to your community might be another one. Yes or no? What are you committed to? What are you committed to? You know, think about it. What do you want? You know, for me personally, I'm committed to my success. But that's like a, you know, I'm committed to my success. I'm actually committed to your success too. But here's the thing. For me personally, my success, I'm very specific about what that means. Like I'm committed to earning a very specific number that I've like pulled out the calculator several times. I know what that number is because I'm committed to earning enough. I'm talking financial goals, right? There's lots of other goals too. I'm committed to earning enough so that my family can buy the home we want, so that we can live how we want to live, so that I can support my parents as they get older. That's basically it. That's what I'm committed to in my financial life. At the same time, I'm committed to creating a law firm that's one of the best immigration law firms in the United States and that actually contributes to the immigrant community in the United States. And yeah, we are committed to winning 10,000 immigration cases by 2035. That's what I'm committed to. All right? It's like be specific. Have a number. Have clarity. Really think it through. Be driven towards something. Have a target, not a vague, oh gee, I want to be a millionaire. Okay? I mean, that's better than saying I want some money. All right? But it's like have a real target. Have a real whatever it is you want. And know why you want it. And so take a moment. What are you committed to? Like, be honest with yourself. What do you want? What do you want? We're doing great, by the way. It's 1:20. We're doing great. I do need to take a break in just a minute, and I need to, get myself some water and things like that. So I do want us to take a quick break. We're doing great. Let's take a quick break. But hey, while we're doing that break, all right, I want you to think about what you're committed to. Like, be specific about it. Maybe your goal is related to money. And if so, create a specific number target for yourself. Maybe it's not about money at all. Maybe instead you're committed to finding the love of your life. All right? If so, like, pick a date. By when do you want to have the love of your life? And describe the qualities of the relationship that you're looking for. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with that. Maybe you're committed to finding a job or changing your job. Or maybe you're committed to having a more fulfilling career. It's like, be specific. What's your commitment? What's that about? What do you want? And then let's just take, I don't know, it's 1:21 right now. Let's be back by 1:25. So we can just take 4 minutes. And I'll leave the stuff on. Feel free to share if you have a let's see here. I'm doing two things at once. Sorry. Okay. So feel free to share on the comments or in the chat what you want to accomplish, and do it. Okay. So I put a little thing on the video on YouTube and Facebook that says break, be back by 1:25. And so take a few moments, think about it. What's your commitment? And we'll get started in just a few minutes. All right, thanks so much, everybody. I'll be right back. All right. All right, are we back? I have a quick, I need to have a quick kind of technical check-in here. Hey, Danitza, can you still hear me? Maybe chat with me. I want to make sure that our sound is still good, that we're happy, that everybody's, okay, you can hear me? Great, thank you. Thank you for all your help. It's awesome. And so welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Hello. Thank you for letting me take a quick break. Get some water in me. Relax for a second. I appreciate it. How's everybody doing? Are we good? You're giving me like a virtual thumbs up. If this is helpful, and if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. If this is your first time joining us, really I appreciate it and welcome. All right. And if you've never seen me before, my name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. We're a law firm in Oakland, California. And, you know, I love this. I love this. So welcome. The idea is, yeah, you know, we've got a law firm. We fight for immigrants. All right. We fight complex immigration cases so that immigrants can stay in the United States. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to limit it to that. All right. I don't want to limit it to that because I know that it's not just about winning somebody's case. All right. Yes, winning somebody's case is important, absolutely. But it's not just about that. It's about, okay, how can we go for everything? You know, getting a green card is a great thing, all right? But it's like, what are you going to do with it? You know, getting the immigration issue out of your way is a great thing. But then what are you going to do with it? And so, you know, for me, it's not just about winning the immigration case. It's like, let's win in life too. Might as well, right? I remember the first time it happened, I spent 3 years litigating a case for a husband and wife. We won. It was like I was very concerned throughout the life of the case because I wasn't sure. You know, it was a tough judge. I wasn't sure if we were going to win or not. We put everything into it. We won the case. All right? And then like a year, maybe a year and a half later, they come into my office telling me they're getting divorced. It's like, what the heck did we do that for? What did we put all of that effort, all that time, all that money, all that everything else into fighting your case, and then your life just kind of falls apart? All right? Like your life falls apart. You got a great family and great kids, and you're ripping your whole life apart through the divorce process, even though we put 3 years into winning your green cards. I mean, anyway, that's just one example. Broke my heart, still breaks my heart. And I don't want that to happen to you. Let's win your case, but also set you up to succeed in life in every way that you want to succeed. All right? And I'm not saying divorce is always a bad thing. It's not. If you're in a toxic relationship, get out of it. All right? If you're in a relationship that's just not working, get out of it. That's true. But man, if you've got a great relationship, protect it. If you've got a great relationship, cultivate it, work on it, treat it like a gardener treats its seeds, right? You want to nourish and grow the things that matter to you. All right, very good. Let's get going. I digress. All right, I digress sometimes. All right, so we've done our break. I don't know if anybody shared what you're committed to. If you wouldn't mind sharing that, I'd really love it. And you don't have to, but if you want to, I'd be honored. All right. So if you want to do that, do that. One last thing that I want to say about commitment before we move on. It's this. If you want a life where you achieve or you accomplish very little, like you don't do much, It's pretty easy to do that, actually. The thing to do is to just not commit. All right? And I remember when I was in university, when you go to university, sometimes you see it. Sometimes you see it. There are people, right? You see people who will study one career, and then they'll change and they'll study another career, and then they'll change and try something else, and it's like, I view those people as funny. You know, I think it's funny. It's a little bit sad maybe in some respects, because in my opinion, they're not accomplishing anything. All right? They might be learning a lot of stuff, but they're not applying it. They're not applying it. And for me, that's not accomplishment. They're not accomplishing anything. All right? And I'm not knocking, you know, there is a place for learning things to improve our mind, right? There is a place for that. I'm not saying anything about that. It's good to learn things, right? It's good to learn for learning's sake, learn for knowledge's sake. That's a great thing. But it's like, let's do something with it. Let's commit to something, all right? So if you want a life where you accomplish very little, it's easy, just don't commit. But if you want to really accomplish big things, which that's what I hope for you, right? If you want to really accomplish big things, commit to something. Commit to your spouse. Commit to your work. Commit to your kids. Commit yourself. And you'll be more fulfilled. And you'll accomplish more in your life. Don't be afraid of commitment, everybody. Don't be afraid of it. Welcome it. It's where life is at. It's where the juice of life lives. All right. Now, for those of you who are my clients, we've done what I'm about to have you do. For those who have never seen me before, you might think I'm a little crazy. What I'm going to have us do is I'm going to have us do a little breathing exercise. All right? Breath is like vitally important for our health as human beings. So please humor me, all right? And you can call me weird and you can call me crazy, that's fine. But please humor me. Let's do a breathing exercise. So what we're going to do is we're going to change things up. We're doing great. We're making great progress. We're probably going to be done by 2 p.m.-ish, right? We're doing great. So what I want to do is I want to take a pause, and I want us to do a breathing exercise. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 5 counts. We're going to hold it for 5 counts, and then we're going to exhale for 5 counts. And we're going to do that total thing 5 times. All right? And so you'll see it as we go along. Okay? Ready? Let's inhale together. All right? Perfect. And now we hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to exhale for 5. Ready? Okay, awesome. That was the first one. Now get ready. We'll do it again. Inhale. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale. That was 2. Start number 3. Ready? Inhale. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Very good. Or on the 4th one, we're doing great. Inhale. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale. We're doing great, everybody. Last time, 5th and final time. Inhale. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale. All right. Thank you. Thank you all so much for doing that and for humoring me with that. I know I'm a little bit crazy sometimes. But I really believe, right? And actually there's science behind this. When we breathe, when we bring in oxygen, when we allow oxygen to enter our blood, that oxygen helps go to our brains. When we do that, we can think better, all right? We can actually reduce our stress level. We can be more open-minded to new ideas. We can better process information that's coming to us. I highly recommend, if you don't have a habit of breathing, it could just be going for a walk, midway through the day, all right? I highly recommend doing that also. But it's like, take a moment every day and allow your body to get some oxygen. Just slow down for a moment. Take a breath. And I swear it'll help you. It'll help you. It helps all of us. It certainly has helped me to be more open to new ideas and get what I want to get. All right? All right, we're doing great. We're doing great, people. We're doing great. Thank you all so much. So let's move on. All right, let's move on. We're moving on to what? We're moving on to step 3. Okay, what are those 3 steps we talked about? We've talked about step number 1 is risk. If you want to change your life, step 1 is take a risk. Be willing to risk something. Number 2 is commit. Be committed. And now it's time to talk about step number 3. Step number 3 is action. All right? This is the time for action. If this whole thing is about nothing else, it's about action. Let's get into action. But hey, what is action? What do we do? What do we do? Where do we begin? And the truth of the matter is, I don't even know. All right? I don't know where to begin. Action can be all kinds of things. All right? It's almost like if you're committed to do something, now it's time to do that breathing exercise that we just did, open your mind, think about, and just make a giant list of everything that you could do to reach what you're committed to. Make a giant list of all of the actions you could do to hit that goal that you have, all right? Or to support your family in the way you want, or to contribute to your community in that way. Don't make a list of what you can't do. Don't make a list of what's not going to work. Make a list of the actions that you could take. All right? Now, I also want to start somewhere, and I also want to explain this. So my dad was pastor of a church, right? And so I'm going to get a little biblical here. So in the Bible, bear with me, in the Bible there are 3 big actions. And you've probably heard them before, even if you come from a different religious tradition, not a problem. In the Bible, there are 3 big actions, and maybe you've heard this before. They are, 1, ask. All right? Ask, and it will be given you. Number 2, seek. Seek, and ye shall find. Right? And what's number 3? Knock. Knock, and the door will be open unto you. All right? That's about as biblical as I'm going to get. All right? So, all right. So, ask, seek, and knock. Maybe it's just that simple. What if it is? All right? Those are 3 pretty solid, pretty enormous actions, though, if we dissect them, if we look at them. And I really encourage each of you, let's start by talking about asking. All right? Pick anything you want. Pick anything you want in life. You can probably get it by asking. You probably can. All right? If you want more money, if you want to fall in love, if you want more happiness, if you want a better job, if you want to move into a larger apartment, if you want to start a business, you can get all of those things by asking. Maybe you can ask for help. Maybe you can ask for guidance. Maybe you could ask a bank to loan you money. Maybe you could ask your boss for a raise. Maybe you could ask your girlfriend to marry you. These are the questions. These are the things that make our lives worth living. All right? Now, I want to digress for just a second because I just think it's almost so basic, but it's so fundamental. It's so profound. It can be profound. All right. So, This is a book, all right? It's called Ask. It's a whole book on just the topic of asking. And it's dedicated. It's written by Mark Victor Hansen. He's the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, all right? And this is a great book. You might check it out on Amazon if you're curious, if you're curious. I've just gotten a lot of good value out of it. And it's like, hey, the concept is if we just dedicate ourselves to asking for what we want, we can get what we want. It's like it's awesome. Anyway, I highly recommend thinking that through. And now the thing about asking is, sure, it's risky in some respects. Somebody might say no. Somebody might reject you. But that's okay. I challenge everyone to start practice asking for what you want. And now, if you wouldn't mind it, I'd love it if we play a little bit and just repeat after me for a minute if you're up for it. All right, so this is just for fun. And the idea is to just get comfortable exercising the muscle of asking. All right, you ready? So just repeat after me if you wouldn't mind. All right? Repeat after me. 1, hey, boss, would you give me a raise? Repeat after me. Hey, boss, would you give me a raise? Now you repeat. Hey, boss, would you give me a raise? That's asking. All right, how about this one? Hey, spouse, girlfriend, loved one, spouse, would you support me if I changed my career? Repeat after me. Hey, spouse, would you support me if I changed my career? All right? It's not so hard to ask that. Number 3, hey, spouse, could we have more intimacy in our relationship? Repeat after me. Hey, spouse, could we have more intimacy in our relationship? Oh, now we're getting somewhere, right? Okay, all right. And now how about this one? Hey, friend. Hey, parent. Hey, child. Will you forgive me? Will you forgive me? Repeat that. Will you forgive me? All right? These are just questions. They're just questions. It's like, here's the thing. If you start asking the uncomfortable questions, if you start asking for what you really want, whatever that is, you'll start to open the door to get the life that you want. And it's like, even if some people will say yes, even if some people will say no, some people might say yes. And if some people say no and some people say yes, over time, you'll make progress. It's like you will make progress. And so what question do you want to ask today? What question do you want to ask today? Will you forgive me? Will you marry me? Will you go out with me? Will you loan me money? Will you trust me? Will you invest with me? Will you give me a raise? Will you teach me? Will you help me? Whatever it is. Those are the questions that can totally transform the quality of your life. So what questions do you want to ask today? And who do you want to ask them to? Write them down. Take a moment. Think about them. Take 5 minutes. Think about it. What are you committed to? What questions can you ask to move forward towards that commitment? Awesome. That's basically it, everybody. That's basically it. That's what we came for today. You've got your commitment. You're ready to take a risk. You're ready to get into action by going for it, by asking for what you want. All right? And it's not just asking. It's like Yeah, if you need to do something, create something, get into action. Remember that when you ask and you get rejected, do you stop? Not if you're committed, you don't stop. You keep going. You ask again. You take another risk. You get more committed. You take more action. Over time, you start to achieve the life you want. Okay? So that's it. That's it. I hope it was helpful. If it was, tell me about it. What did you get out of it? I'd love to know. Now's the time for action. Okay? Now's the time for action. So what actions do you want to take in between now, today, and the next Client Success Summit? All right, which is October 23rd. What actions do you want to take between now and October 23rd? What do you want to achieve by then? Write it down. Which questions will you ask? And who will you ask them to start moving forward towards your commitment? Check out, put them in your workbook or write them on a sheet of paper or whatever. Be able to look back to it and get it done so you can move your life forward. You'll be amazed at what you can achieve within the next 90 days. All right, you got it. You got it. So that's it. Thanks, everyone. I do want to switch gears real quick and talk briefly, at least, about immigration. All right? And so, a lot of you have learned, we've spoken with all of our DACA clients. The DACA program has been halted. All right? It was halted by a judge, federal court judge, on July 16th. And specifically what that judge says, it doesn't say that DACA is like out forever. It says that there was a problem with the way the DACA program was initiated to begin with, but that it can be fixed, all right? And so actually the judge kind of gave the Department of Homeland Security the opportunity to go back and basically fix the DACA program so that it could work and pass it through the regulatory process. So anyway, the DACA program's been halted. That's kind of news, but it looks like it's temporary. All right, so that's one thing that's going on. The second thing I want to explain about immigration is U visas. All right, U visas have been improved for people who've been the victims of crimes in the U.S., but you've cooperated with law enforcement in the investigation or prosecution of the crime. That's what makes you eligible for a U visa. That process has been approved, and so if you've got a pending U visa with our firm, or if you've got a pending U visa anywhere, you're going to be approved, as long as it was done properly, you're going to be approved more quickly for work permits through the U visa than we've ever seen before. So that's a really positive thing. The third change that I want to point out is immigration court is starting to open back up for hearings. And that's a positive thing. I'll share with you, actually. Just this week, my office has done 2 citizenship interviews with USCIS, 3 adjustment of status interviews this week, and 1 individual hearing in immigration court this week. That, literally, this week ending July 31st, today, right? And so that was actually the busiest week that our firm has had in over a year since the pandemic started. Since March of last year. So think about that. That's actually positive, right? It shows that the government is starting to get past the pandemic. It's not at full throttle yet, but it's starting to open up. There's court cases in immigration court. There's cases in front of USCIS. And I'll also share it just to pat my own self and my own team on the back, if my team is listening. Every one of those cases we won. All right? And so it's okay, it's possible to have some serious positive momentum on cases and achieve what our goal is in those cases. And I just want to share that immigration is starting to see movement. Okay? Now the next thing to share is there's also conversations in D.C. All right, there's conversations in Washington, D.C. about including immigration proposals into budget reform bills. They're talking about immigration in other ways too. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. You know, we'll see what happens. There's nothing that's like final. There's nothing set in stone. But it's like things are always changing, people. Things are always changing. And, you know, let's just be open and see what happens. And if there really is a change, we'll be shouting and screaming to everyone. And so, and speaking of which, if you're watching me on Facebook or YouTube and you've never seen me before, if you want to be notified when we are shouting and screaming about stuff, please hit the subscribe button to our channel and please hit the notification bell. And you'll get a notification anytime we do a new video. Anytime, you know, you can also put a thumbs up on any specific video that our firm puts out, and that you'll tell the internet that you like that kind of content and you'll see more of it. Okay? So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about immigration. I also want to give a little update about our firm. Our firm is growing. All right? So if you're watching me right now and if you know any immigration paralegals or immigration lawyers who are like awesome and they're looking to join an awesome team, please let me know. Send them my way. I want that. I want that. I'm looking. All right? And then about this particular summit, thank you all so much for being here. I would love it if you gave me some feedback. How can I grow these meetings, these summits? You know, if you wouldn't mind, like, just leave me a message, leave me a comment, send me something, like tell me, how can I make this better, more effective for you? How can I make it so you're like excited to come back to the next one? How can we make it so that we grow it? All right? How that we can grow it and we can be a heck, have everybody bring one friend to the next one. I mean, that'd be great. My goal and my plan in starting in 2022 is that we actually do one of these for our clients live. All right, let's book out a hotel someplace. Let's invite everybody in and let's focus on how can we improve our lives. All right? Last thing, before I get into some Q&A, all right, because we have gotten some questions, which I really appreciate about everybody. So lastly, I just want to say how much I appreciate each of you for being here. It takes a special human being to part with some of their time, all right? To part with some of their time on a beautiful afternoon on the 31st of July. Like, thank you. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for being part of this. You know, if you're watching me right now, you are fighting your own personal fight. You are going through your own personal struggle. You are confronting, you know, whatever it is that you're confronting, and you're doing it with grace, and you're doing it and still like showing up on a Saturday to like focus on how you can move your own life forward. And so I honor you. All right, I want you to hear me. I honor you today. I so appreciate who you are. And so thank you, everyone, for being here with me today. That's it. We'll see you for the next Client Success Summit. We're going to be changing the name slightly because we're going to be opening it up to more than just clients, right? We're going to call it the Empowered Immigrant Quarterly Summit. And it's going to, the next one is the 23rd of October. Mark your calendars, people. Mark your calendars, 90 days. You can see what you can accomplish in the next 90 days. I promise you, you can make magic happen. All right? Thanks, everyone, so much. I did receive some questions and some comments, so I just want to read through those to make sure people get what they needed. So one is from Edward. Let's see. Edward says, "Hi, Mr. Landerholm. I believe in risk. Mine is that I am going to ask for asylum with my wife and my children at the border. Oh, my gosh. I am a Venezuelan lawyer with a case of persecution by the Venezuelan government." Oh, my gosh. Edward, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. I wish you the very best of luck. I wish you the very best of luck. All right? Every person does have the right to file for asylum, but asylum is not easy. It is not easy, and you're right, there is serious risk involved. It is not going to be fun. It is not going to be joyous, all right? I wish you the best of luck. If my office can support you in any way possible, reach out, okay? The next question, asks, the next question is by the same gentleman. Edward, you asked another question, a follow-up question. Awesome. You say, the evidence was sent by FedEx to USA. I have a digital one with me. What are the chances they will let us present our case, considering that only families who can prove their cases enter? All right. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't want to get into it too much in this summit right this second. Asylum is not easy. They could detain you when you're coming in. All right? They could deport you. If you explain clearly that your life or your freedom is at risk if you were to return to your country, they should at least give you what's called a credible fear interview. That's like the first step of an asylum process at the border. They could separate you and your spouse, all right? The children should they'll probably go with the mom, all right? And anyway, you got to be aware of the serious risks involved because it is not fun to be at the border right now, all right? I wish you the very, very best of luck. The next question that I see is from, I think it is Sujan. Sujan is the name I see here, all right? Sujan asks, how many months or days does it take to obtain certification from a certain authority for the U visa? Okay, great question, Sujan. Thank you for asking it. I believe that you might be talking about the certification from the law enforcement agency. Remember, for any U visa, there's two big steps. First, we've got to get a signature on what we call the I-918 Supplement B. We call that the certification that says that someone was the victim of a qualifying crime here in the United States, and they were helpful. They were helpful in the investigation or the prosecution of that crime. How long that takes will depend on which law enforcement agency you're asking the certification from. All right? Here in Oakland, California, our office will get them in 2 weeks. All right? San Francisco Police Department's pretty quick also, maybe 3 weeks. We've had cases in other states that take months and several follow-up. All right? So it's different depending on which agency it's with. All right? So I hope that was helpful. I have videos about the certification process for U visas. Check out our YouTube channel and on there. The next one is from Sharif. Sharif says, Otis, nice to see you live. Sharif, great to see you too. I know you. Great to see you. So awesome. And then the next one, let's see, it says, Hola, abogado. Una persona que entró con visa de inmigrante por matrimonio puede aplicar para la visa VAWA. Gracias. All right, so the question in English is, hello, lawyer, a person who entered with a visa, with an immigrant visa through marriage, can they change it and apply for a visa through VAWA? The quick and dirty answer is yes, you can. All right? And VAWA cases also are not fun. So imagine somebody comes in and they're all happily married and now the marriage turns bad and abusive. All right? When a person is married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, but they have been the victim of either abuse or quote-unquote extreme cruelty, they can apply for VAWA. Yeah? And so they can apply. VAWA stands for the Violence Against Women Act. You don't have to be a woman to apply for it, but that's the name of the act when it was passed. And so, yeah, if you are the spouse of a U.S. citizen or a green card holder who is abusive to you or is making you suffer extreme cruelty, then yes, you can apply for VAWA. And if you want help with that, I encourage you to get help with it. If anybody's watching this right now and you have your own case or something like that or your own questions about your own process, please contact my office. All right, we've got our number here below my video or in the description. Please reach out. I'd love to have my office understand your situation in more depth to see how we can support you. All right, everyone. All right, it is 2 p.m. We're like perfect here. Thank you all so much. It's been an honor to be with you here today. Go forth and conquer. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And we'll see you in 90 days for our next Client Success Summit, for our next Empowered Immigrant Summit. We will see you on October 23rd. Love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.